I think there has to be a way back because he's an asset, at the club. They have spent money. I don't see somebody now giving you that same money back. So that it's an investment, and you need to find a way back with Lukaku. But he has to understand that these are the terms, these are the way forward. Yes, you have come in as the main striker, but you have to show it that you are the main striker, and you have to be in line with all the others that are part of the team. As simple as that. And I don't think that nothing will be done in January.
You think that apology is really important, though, Graeme? That's what I was saying before.
And some. To everyone who was in the stadium today. Yeah. Firstly, to his manager and his teammates. To everyone else at Chelsea Football Club and all their supporters. He's got to hold his hands up, and for whatever reason, say, look, I wasn't in the right place, I made a mistake, I apologise unreservedly. I mean, he's lit a fire that only he can put out. The solution has to come from him. He can't be expected to be welcomed back into the fold if he's unrepentant. He's got to find a way of saying sorry, I got it wrong.
Should that punishment be enough?
Yeah. I mean, he's left him out of a game. I mean, this keeps the story going. I think if Lukaku plays today, we're talking about the situation after the game. The manager said he spoke to...
Excuse me. Are you saying missing a game is enough punishment?
You think it should be more?
Oh, he's got to say sorry.
Oh, no, I get that. But what I'm saying is, in terms of... I don't think this should carry on. I mean, the interview wasn't great, but I mean... You're talking there, Graeme, about... I mean, he hasn't said he wants to leave, or he's just
no,
hinted...
He has in as many words, because he says he wants to return to Inter.
But we've got to...
Given he's 29, when he's still in his peak...
Is he talking about actually going to Inter Milan right now? He's not talking about that. We know there's a situation where... He's done the interview to pacify Inter Milan fans, hasn't he?
I don't think because he says he wants to leave now.
He's not saying...
He doesn't want to leave.
But he's saying... I want to get back to Inter in due course.
No, it wasn't due course.
Not. I think that's what he's trying. I don't think that he's using the right words. I think that he has not used the right words. But I don't think that he is saying, I want to leave now. He's definitely not happy with the 4 matches that he has not played.
Yes.
And there is where he's spitting his dummy out.
He wants to pick up.
Listen, I don't think they should be getting made bigger than what it is. I'm not a fan of sort of...
But do you not think Thomas Tuchel has done that already?
Yeah, yes, that's my point. I mean, I said at the top of the show, you spoke about if other players in the dressing room would be unhappy. He said he spoke to the senior players. I get all that. That's happened in dressing rooms I've been in. But I go back to the fact that if I was a Chelsea player, and Chelsea played well today, they didn't miss Lukaku, but I'd still want him as maybe an option from the bench, or whether it was the start. I'd still want my best player playing, whether that was Luis Suarez. He had a situation at Liverpool where Brendan Rodgers left him out when he was actually a lot worse than what Lukaku's done in terms of actively saying, he doesn't want to play, he wants to join Arsenal. At that stage, that was a really bad situation. I think the interview with Lukaku is not great. He should come out and apologise, but talk of him keep missing games for a long period of time. It wasn't that bad.
Whatever you say, yes, they have played well today, really well, and they deserve to win against a really good team. But whatever you say, in the longer term, you want Lukaku in your team because he's going to score goals.
At any price?
Not at any price. No, not at any price. He has to get into the system the right way. And he has to be part of that team that does everything in the right way. He has to. And when he does that, he will be in their best 11 because he scores goal. But he has to show he has to say sorry, and he has to now come to the table and say, listen, you have misunderstood me, or I'm sorry, or this is what I meant, or what he has to clear up the mess.
But do you accept, Jimmy, at this football club there are different pressures, extreme pressures sometimes from up high that might not be happy about a depreciating asset. It could be depreciating extremely quickly right now.
Yeah, I understand that, but you have to manage how you think you have to manage. Yeah, you have to do the right thing for the club, and I think what Tuchel has done today is the right thing for the club and for the team at this moment of time.
What worries me? The fact that When was it? When was it made public? Was it Wednesday?
New Year's Eve, the interview was published, but as we understand, it was done in mid-December.
Yeah, I know, but it was made public to us New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So we've heard nothing from the player. He must, if he watches us or he's read newspapers or other commentators, he must realise he's made a mistake.
Well, according to our cousins in America, NBC, they've been reporting today because there has apparently been a text exchange between Tim Howard, his former Everton teammate who now works for NBC, and Lukaku, in which Lukaku has been quoted as saying, "The situation is hot. There is another meeting on Monday, and then I can say more about it."
It's obvious what he has to say. He has to apologise. There's one word comes to my mind. He has to show respect.
Yeah.
He has to show respect to everyone who's paid to come and watch him today, the people who made the decision to spend 100 million on him, the people that made the decision to pay him whatever he's getting paid, and his teammates in the dressing room. He's not shown respect to anyone. Anyone.
I think he told the manager, there's an interesting point here, I think, probably going back 2 or 3 managers, Conte and Costa. And I think the way Costa carried on was on a completely different level to what we're talking about here with Lukaku. It was almost refusing to play. I think he went back home, was in a different country, wasn't even here training. Yeah. And Conte obviously had that text message exchange. Yeah. I think that always went against Conte. But I actually admired Conte's stance on that. And I admired Thomas Tuchel. I don't think anyone as a manager, these 2 guys here have been managers, should almost lower their principles or how they want to run a dressing room because there's fear upstairs that they could lose their job. You can't. You've got to sort of, I think, stick to your principles. And yeah, I totally understand it. Thomas Tuchel and his staff will be disappointed. It's bringing noise that they don't need. I get all that. I just don't think Chelsea, this needs to run further. I don't think the actual things he said are not great. I just don't think they're as bad as, he's not in the team for the next 4 or 5 weeks, or he's not in the squad. I don't think it needs to be that.
In terms of quality, he is a fabulous footballer.
I remember you saying at the start of the season, I think I don't want to misquote you, but I think you said something on the lines of he could be the difference maker for Chelsea in terms of the title race.
Yeah.
And they win it without him, do you think?
No, because I think there'll be games when you have to mix it up a bit. His response to being left out or during the statement, was that the managers changed to a different formation. Well, they haven't got like for like. There's not a young Lukaku on the bench they can bring on and play the same way. So whoever it is that comes on, Havertz, whoever, the play in that forward area, it's going to be a different Chelsea. And then just going back, that wasn't what I was going to say. If
they
you
won't
think
win without him.
No.
They won't win it with him.
Werner won't score.
They won't win it with him.
No, exactly. No, they won't win it. But they have no chance without him. But that doesn't mean you have to take all the nonsense that he wants to do.
Major decision time for Chelsea. If he chooses not to apologise, how can he possibly come back into the dressing room? Then if he's thinking, I can force myself a transfer here. I mean, the guy that owns this football club will not be pushed and bullied by any football player. And if there's one club, along with City, that could afford to turn around and say, sorry, just sit there, play in the reserves, do whatever you want, you ain't leaving here, you ain't going to Milan or anywhere else. Serve your time here. And if we have to burn 100 million, they will burn it. A lot of other places, they'd be maybe thinking, OK, we'll sell them, but they would get nothing like 100 million quid back from them. They're in a very difficult place.
You've said nothing will happen in January, but if there was a resolution which meant that he was going to leave, would you take that? To drive this football club forward?
No, I wouldn't. I would.
If he refuses to apologise?
He has to apologise.
No,
and
if he refuses.
I think it comes to Abramovich. I think it comes to Abramovich as he is staying and giving Tuchel the key to do whatever he wants to do. And I think that's what has to happen. He cannot come and after how many matches? We are in December, January, beginning of January, and wanting to leave already while a club have put £100 million out for you and you wanted that transfer. 6 months after, you coming now? No. It has to be, has to stay. What kind of club are you otherwise? No, you have to stay and know what the rules are. Explain yourself.
But if he doesn't apologise, what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him?
This is what you say to your son.
Doesn't
apologise.
That's another story.
Eventually he will apologise.
I know you want to keep him, like anyone would want to keep him, because there's not many of them around.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that comes, nearest to him going back would have been Drogba, the one that played here. He is a special talent. But if he doesn't apologise, what do you do with him?
I don't think that he has that option.
He will apologise. He just needs to say sorry in front of the lads. I don't think it's that big a deal.
I
actually don't think this story is as big as...
And he has to come out for the fans as well.
No, I don't. I actually, listen, I've said at the top of the show, Lukaku's got history of doing these type of interviews at every club he's been at. He's never stayed long enough at any club, really, and almost left there as a legend. He's had a great career, scored lots of goals, even at Inter Milan. The interview is basically trying to pacify Inter Milan fans for the way he left. This talk about one day he'd like to go back to Inter Milan, I'm not even sure I believe it. I think he's actually just saying it to almost try and curry favour with the Inter Milan fans. He's obviously a little bit disappointed he's not in the team right now, but I don't think anyone would ever choose sort of playing in Serie A now rather than playing in the Premier League. It's up to him to try and get back into the Chelsea team. He just needs to apologise. I don't think it's that big a deal. I think he knows what he's saying. I think he's leaving little things open. He's a little bit frustrated with not playing. But his actual quote to what he said, I don't think he's actually said, I want to leave Chelsea. The manager's not good enough. He's not using it right. I think he's just put a little couple of things there that he's done before at other clubs. He just needs a little slap down.
Final thought then.
I want to be kind to him, and you look for reasons why he would have said that. And this is what I believe. I think he gets injured, he gets an ankle injury. And I spoke about certain players need to be worked hard every day in training and play nearly every week to get the best out of them. He's a big, powerful man. You're looking at yourself now.
No, just
He's looking at me. He's looking at those thighs. And those thighs. Yes, I did need to train very hard.
So he's got this injury that wouldn't allow him to come back into normal training immediately and go for it. So he's out the team, and then he comes back. And then he's declared himself fit, and the manager's not picking him very much. I think that frustration that came out and what he said about going back to Italy was born out of that. I have to believe that because I only believe the good in Lukaku. And then he comes back and he scores in his last two games, Brighton and Villa. And all of a sudden, it's a very different world now for Lukaku to the one when he wasn't starting and playing many minutes for Chelsea the week before and 2 and 3 weeks before that. I have to believe that's why he came out and said such ridiculous things.